later. So the way we switched into not just retailing them at an outdoor show or a trade show, something like that, was my mom was she was my partner. So we would work 6 months off and then 6 months off. So we would work all summer, every event we could find.
Yeah.
And we'd pool our money. And at the end of the summer, we'd split it. And then we'd take 6 months off, which is great in your 20s and 30s. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then she got to be about 60 and was like, this is killing me. Right. And now I know that now that I'm 50, because we still do some of these shows and they're exhausting. You get there at 10, you work till midnight. It's like,
and you have to be on the whole time.
Yeah. And you're
You're just sitting there watching people have fun. It's like, this is great.
We've experienced that.
We did. Yeah.
So she was like, I can't really take this anymore, but I need to work another 5-10 years before I retire. So then we decided, hey, maybe we could turn this around. We've learned so much about this product that we could probably make our own at this point and figure out how to do that, and then not have to kill ourselves constantly doing this, where we can sell them in a different fashion. That's when more of the online became a thing for us. But even still, we wholesale them as the broadest part of our business.
Yeah.
But we still do a lot of online sales.
So how do you come about like picking out when you first started, you have A and B. These are my two products.
Right.
And then you've expanded the line, I'm guessing.
We started with 4.
4? Okay.
And we started before we were wholesaling or online.
Yeah.
We just took them to the events that we were there and said, let's just see how this works. So we got our first 4 designs and had them made for us, brought them in, and which one of them was a disaster. This is the interesting thing about buying from overseas. Yeah. Sunglasses, unless they're handmade, or they're Oakley, which built their factory a long time after they were selling sunglasses. They had to have a lot of money to build a factory. They're made overseas. They're not made in the United States. That's just
so. No matter which brand you get, you kind of get it from. It's like when you buy cereal. It's like you can have the Cheerios, or you can have the off-brand, which is made on the same line as the Cheerios.
Yes, basically. And the factory that
I was like, where are we going with that? I was like, now I'm hungry for cereal.
Yes, and the factory that works for us and makes our product makes them for several companies.
Yeah.
They're not going to say like, oh, we're only going to make them for you. There are a couple companies that work with big companies that do that.
Yeah.
But most manufacturers are happy to make sunglasses for many people, right?
Yeah.
So one of them came, and this was before we worked with the company we do now. We didn't know what we were doing. We got our first manufacturer, and they sent us glasses that were hideous, and they were terrible quality. We were like, what do we do with these? And they said, nothing. They're yours. You already paid us. If you don't like it, I guess you can come to China and try to give it back to us.
Paid, how many pairs?
It was 600.
Wow.
Oh.
That's the minimum order for really anything. If you're going to
was it 600 of each style, or 600
it's 600 of that style, and you can get 2 colors. So it was 2 colors, and they were all terrible. They were awful. I think we still have 1 or 2 in our closet somewhere,
Like,
just
what
to
was
remind
awful
ourselves.
about them? Just the quality?
Yeah,
I want to know more about this.
Yeah, they the plastic was really cheap, and we weren't expecting that. And then we asked for a certain color lens. It was like puke yellow. It was awful. We were like, what is this? And then the paint, most color in sunglasses is paint.
Yeah.
And it was just terrible. It looked like if you went into a dollar store that is going bankrupt and they have 5 pairs of sunglasses left, and that's what you'd pick. And you're like, oh, I guess this maybe cost 5 cents. They were just horrible.
Wow.
And then 3 of them were really nice. And we were like, well, that's bizarre, right? And then we learned the person we had to learn a lot, but the first person we went through bought these from here, these from here, these from here.
Different factories.
So there's different factories,
okay.
right? And he was buying from all kinds of places. So we had to later go overseas, find a factory we wanted, work with an importer we wanted to work with that was reputable.
Because it was just a shot in the dark. Like, you make me a pair of sunglasses, you get 10 different versions of that one pair that you want.
Yeah, kind of. So we learned a lot our first couple orders, but luckily it didn't kill us because we weren't ordering thousands and thousands. We were ordering the very basic minimum you could do just to see how it would go.
Did they give you like a spec at first that you're like basing your order off of? Like, oh yes, this seems good quality. This is what we're gonna.
They do now. We knew none of this, right?
Yeah.
So at that time, it was just like, can you make sort of this? And they were like, sure, right? And then we got it. It was terrible. So we learned quickly, like, hey, we have to find a factory that will make really good things.
Yeah.
Right. And the strange thing is about sunglasses, the factory, there's levels of what the factories will make. Like you can go to a factory that just makes garbage all day long.
Yeah.
Right. And then there are factories that specialize in better stuff and their machines are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just matters what they're putting into that machine. Like if they're going to make you a frame, they're like, we have 15 materials. Which would you like? And
Yeah.
there's the low grade and there's insanely high grade.
Yeah.
And where do you want to fit into that? So you can make our factory makes ours and they're $40 retail. They'll happily make us a $500 pair of sunglasses if that's what we want to make.
Yeah.
And they do a beautiful job of it. And they do that for people. There's a few companies they make very high-end sunglasses for.
Wow. I mean, and some of it's all comes down to the name. You can get the same junky pair of sunglasses, put a high-end name on it, and all of a sudden it has more value just because of the name.
To some degree, yes. There is a limit of that
Yeah.
because Ray-Ban couldn't make a horrible product and still remain Ray-Ban.
Yeah.
Right? They have to make a decent product. But the interesting thing is the line between good, better, and great isn't that far as money goes.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't take a whole lot more to produce something better and then something better and then something better. But it's weird that if it's just not what people think. You know, I think people are pretty savvy to the fact that there's a decent markup in sunglasses. Right?
So some people may, I mean, you're kind of reading your clients or your customers and you're saying, okay, they want really good optics. They want to be able to see through these really good, not get a glare. So this is what the quality maybe we're going to focus on.
Yep.
Whereas maybe we can do middle road plastic or something
Yep.
like that. And so you can kind of tailor it to what you think your clients or your customers are wanting out of your glasses.
Yeah, 100%. We started with a retail price. Our whole thing was we want to sell glasses for $40 because there's a million glasses that cost $5, $10, $15, $20, that range.
Yeah.
And there's a million that are, well, not a million, but there's a good amount of companies that are $100, $200, $300.
Yeah.
A lot of people in that field. And there's almost no one in the middle market. Right. So, and I had known that because at our events, we sold less expensive and I had convinced a couple higher end brands to sell to me, which took some doing.
Yeah.
And people would come and they'd be like, well, great. You have, we sold Nike for a little while. We sold Under Armour for a little while. And they're like, we have these $150 pairs and you got these $20 pairs. How come you got anything for $50?
Yeah.
And I heard that all day for 15 years. It took me that long to realize maybe I should do something about that. But when I did, that turned out to be a great
Yeah, because
market.
I mean, if someone buys like $20 pair of sunglasses, usually from the gas station or something like
Sure.
that, they know that I just need to wear these for like a day.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go in the trash, or I'm going to lose them somewhere.
Yeah.
And then I'm okay with that.
Right.
But they also look at like those Oakleys that are like really expensive. Like I can't afford those.
Right.
So this is something for like an everyday person to be able to afford. You get a good quality out of it, but not be so cheap that you're kind of wasting your money on junk that's going to end up going in the garbage.
Yeah, exactly right. And we wanted to have, I use this analogy all the time. We wanted to make a Toyota Camry, right? Because that's a huge market.
Yeah.
Right. That's like, great. You want a good car that you can afford that will get a lot of miles on it. And if you're an average family, you're not necessarily going to buy a super premium car and you don't want a Yugo,
Yeah.
right? So we thought if we could make that product in sunglasses, that'd be a pretty cool thing, right? And this got going before the internet was really big.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't have any idea if that market was full or not. I could never find anybody in that market. I only knew of one company.
Yeah.
Right. There's quite a few actually now. And I mean, if you look on the internet, you'll find everything and anything, right? If you deep search it enough.
Yeah.
But if someone even was a sunglass connoisseur and you said, name me 5 sunglasses that are really good that are $50 or less, and they're going to be like, maybe they can think of one,
Yeah.
right? Because it's not really a big market.
Yeah. It's usually, it kind of falls on like clothing brands like, well, we're going to have our own, like Levi's, like, well, we're going to have our own sunglasses. And so that's usually like the middle of the road, or like, it's a clothing brand, but they make sunglasses, and like, I don't know. I mean, but it matches my jacket, I guess.
Yeah, and there are a couple. There's we definitely have competition, but I think that's good. Actually, it doesn't bother me at
Yeah.
all. And I've tried them all. I've worked with them all. I even order. I'll even buy some at times. Just like, hey, what are they doing? What does this look like? Just to see, like, great, what are they using and how does that look? And everybody does things differently, but there's just, I think it's a great market because people are like, wow, $40. If I lose them, I'm not going to kill myself.
Yeah.
And they're better than what's just going to fall apart tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right, so.
And it's always good to have extras. I mean, someone can buy a $500 pair of glasses, and that's the one pair they can like afford to wear
Yeah.
all day long, and they're going to wear them out. But you can get 5 pairs of sunglasses of different types, and wear.
Yeah.
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 That's probably what you want, right?
Yeah, that is. And we have customers who do
He's
that.
like, it's only $40.
Yeah.
I can swap them all
Yes.
out.
In fact, we have a lot of customers who buy our glasses because they don't want to wear their expensive ones.
Yeah.
In certain cases. Like if I'm going rafting,
Yeah.
I'm certainly not going to put these on. They're $400, right? And they're like, but I want something good for the trip I'm going on. Because people get worried about those. They're like, I spent $500 on these, and then they don't wear them that often,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
I've lost a really expensive pair of glasses, and I've had to buy like the gaiter you wear around your neck.
Of course.
And I still lose them and don't realize I have them on literally around my neck. I'm like, where are my glasses at?
That sounds like me and my phone. Where is my phone?
It's like, I'm going to call someone
Yes.
really quick. Can
Yeah.
you help me find my phone? I think the price point is great, though, because it's kind of like the everyday consumer.
Yeah.
So I always tell Brian, I'm like, anytime we're talking about something, he goes, how much do you think this costs? And I'm like, $50. Like, that's like my
Yeah.
go-to. It's like my sweet spot. So you guys are just underneath that, and it's, yeah.
Your thought process was identical to mine.
Perfect.
We looked at 50, and what I noticed
50 feels a little...
Exactly
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's like $49.99. You got to. It's the mental block.
But
of
people are
that.
smart to that anymore. They're
Yeah,
like,
sure.
you're
That's
trying to
50
sell me a
bucks.
$50.
Right. So
Yeah.
even at 45, in my mind, I think that's $50.
Yeah.
So we
Round up.
Yeah, of course. So when we did that, we had a brand that we were selling that was 50, and I noticed that people had to think about that product. They'd be like, okay, $50, I like these, but it's $50, and you'd see them think,
They're like, it's half of
yes, do I do that?
100,
Yes,
yeah.
but with 40, the thinking process was like, 40, sure,
I can do
or
40.
no, right, and it was really quick, and we
Yeah.
were like, great, and we sold triple the amount of our product that we were selling of the $50 product.
Was that just very eye-opening to
Yeah,
you?
it
Just
was.
like, wait a minute.
But yeah, and
you
it
hack
was.
the matrix.
Yeah. So we were like, great, that's a good price.
Yeah.
Right. Now we just have to dial in this product at that price, right? And,
Yeah.
and get exactly what we want. And we've had that price. We were literally talking about this in the ride down here since 2011, and we have constantly been, do we raise it? Do we raise it? And we're constantly like, nope. Like we're gonna leave it here as long as humanly possible because it's such an easy price point.
It
$2.20.
is tough. It's kind of like when you go to Dollar Tree. What's Dollar Tree now? It's $1.99.
$1.25.
Yeah.
There's-
So- or,
There's
yeah.
$2
Or
stuff
some
there,
there's
yeah.
product where you're like, that's $3.50. I thought we were in the
Yeah.
dollar.
No, it's like, wait a minute. I'm
Yeah.
on to you guys.
So we're
but-
trying to keep
yeah,
it there, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
your goal is to be kind of the middle ground
Yeah.
for everybody else.
Yeah.
That's I need a good pair of sunglasses.
Yeah.
So where do you guys? I mean, is it expanding the line? How do you see growth going with it?
Well,
That's my favorite question to ask.
yeah,
people, by the way.
yeah, it's an interesting question because you're always.
It's like,
I
what's
think
your
if you're-
five? My curious is like, what's your 5-year plan? It's
What
like,
is
I
your
don't know.
5-year
I'll tell
plan?
you,
I'd
my
like
five-
to know your
my-
5-year
Oh, you've got one.
I have one.
All right.
You're my
So
people.
my 5-year plan is to sell this business in 5 years. We have
Oh, wow.
You have an exit strategy.
I do. So since I was young, I love being outdoors. I like doing things. I like work. I really love what I do, actually. I
Yeah.
get up and I look forward to going to work. But I also love when we travel. My wife and I love to travel. I'm a big scuba buff. Anything that's fun, I like to do.
Yeah.
So I thought, I don't want to work till I'm 70 and then be like, well, I can't do that because now I'm 70. And
Yeah.
my
My
parents
bones
were in
are-
that position, right?
Yeah.
We were pretty poor growing up, and they had to dig themselves out, and it took them a long time. So now they were like, well, we can't retire, but when we do,
Yeah.
and they finally have, they're like, well, we can't really do much. We can do a little bit, and we didn't want to do that. So
Yeah.
I was like, I would like to. I've been wanting to retire at 55 since I was probably 20.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my goal. Was like, I'm 50 now, and I thought if I can build this up so it's attractive to a buyer,
Yeah.
and we could make enough to have a decent start for a nest egg,
Mm-hmm.
we could do that, right? If we're smart, we don't need to be. It's just the two of us. We don't have children, so we don't need a ton,
Yeah.
right? Neither of us are huge spenders, and we like to spend our money on travel and go and have a good time. So
And Ruben.
yes, and our dog, right? And with that, I think we spend more money on the dog than anything else. Actually. So anyway, that's what I've been building this for. Is like, great. I think I would like to sell this. I'll see though in 5 because the bigger it gets, the more I'm so involved in it.
Yeah.
It might be a little hard for me at that time. You're like, gosh, do I really want to give this up?
It's hard to get out. I mean, especially when you put so much time and effort into something and you get it up to a certain point and then letting it go.
Yeah.
It's like, well, maybe I can just step back a little bit. Maybe I can just like have someone that runs it, but I can be gone for like a month at a time.
You can consult.
Yeah. So, and I think I would definitely want to do that because we had a big learning curve and there's a lot to learn. And if someone came in and said, great, we'll just keep selling things. I don't know if that would work. Like there's a lot to it to gain customers, to keep it growing. We've tripled it 4 times, right? We've just like, right. We can't do that now because we're in a position where that's unviable. But like when we were just starting, we were like, great, we doubled it. And great, we doubled it again.
Yeah.
So that took a ton of work. Like a lot of people, if you're a small business owner, I don't know if other people that aren't small business owners aren't, but a 14, 16, 18-hour day is not a uncommon thing. We go home and we put tags on the glasses still. We watch movies and tag thousands of glasses because we don't have.
There's the bandwidth issue of being a small business is you can only go so far as a small business before you have to shift gears and turn it, or can you turn it into a larger business?
Right. And it's doing that. We're on the cusp of that, but we need more. We now have 5 people. We need another person. We need a bigger space. Right. Yeah. It's going great. It's just.
Is it like order fulfillment? Is that like a pinch point, or is it what is the thing for you to like that? This is going to take me to the next level.
Just more customers.
Yeah.
Right. So we have a good online business, and we have a very good wholesale business. We're probably in 400 stores.
Oh, like anything
I was
around
gonna say,
here?
where are you?
Yeah.
So we started I knew the golf industry because I had worked in high school and I was a caddy, right? And I golfed, so I knew a couple people in that industry. So our first few glasses were made for the golf industry, and we were selling to golf courses. And at first that was great, and then we realized quickly, golf courses don't buy very many sunglasses. They're going to sell 50 a summer. 60.
Really?
Yeah, they don't
I
sell
would
very
think
many.
it'd be more. Like
Yeah,
they'd show
I mean,
up.
some will do more.
So
But
golfers are very prepared for their day, is what I'm hearing.
mostly. But they show up and they need something, so they might sell 150 or 2 would be quite a bit for a golf course, right?
Yeah.
So we found out quickly that's not gonna do it unless we just get 1 million golf courses. And then we found out golf courses get called all day, every day by every conceivable company trying to sell them everything. Clothes, shoes, sunglasses, hats. They just get inundated. So our biggest market is whitewater paddling, whitewater rafting. I just said that. Sorry. Yeah. And those guys get ignored completely. I'm giving away a big trade secret here. Yeah. Yes, if you drive out to a whitewater rafting shop, they will be so happy that you came to see them out in the middle of nowhere at their outpost.
The one in Center River.
Yeah. We got to, it was the same thing. We were going rafting and we had our expensive sunglasses on. Wait, did I lose mine? I think I lost
You
mine.
probably did everybody.
I think I did. And so that's why I needed a new pair. And Brian's like, well, while I'm here, I'm going to get a new pair.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, it was one of those things where it was like, oh, I'm so glad they had a little sunglass hut thing in here.
Yeah.
And we do great with that group. We have several hundred of those type of customers, and they go through a lot of sunglasses. We have a place in Jackson Hole that goes through 500, 600, 700 a summer easily. We have water parks that'll go through a couple thousand a summer easily, right? And then that's like,
great.
great.
You just call them up, say, hey, did any of the rafts overturn?
Yes. Exactly. How many people lost sunglasses?
Take them down like the really hard ones.
Yeah, and they sell a ton of croquis.
Yeah.
They sell thousands of those things because they're like, hey, if you like your glasses, prescription or otherwise, you better buy these for $10.
They sold us.
You have to. They're going to be in the drink, right? So, and it's fun. That's the other thing about sunglasses. They're fun. So people like to buy them. There's lots of colors, and it's not just men or not just women. Men love them too. Right?
I think he has more sunglasses than I do.
That doesn't surprise
I'm
me.
the one that will get a pair of sunglasses, and then I want to keep that same pair forever and ever and ever.
Yeah. I need one of those sunglass racks or like a little
Yeah.
spindle.
He's the same with watches
Because
too.
I'll end up like in a junk drawer or like in the bottom of something in my car. And it's like, oh, now they're all scratched.
You just
up.
found a pair not too long ago, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
so we just need to throw a couple of yours and
Yeah.
like random.
Yeah, we have a lot of customers like that. Hey, I need 4, one for every car, or
Yeah.
the RV, or
I
whatever.
got a really wide head for some reason. I put them on like, and they like stretch out. And it's like, so I got to get a very specific, like
Sure.
wide lens.
Do you
I
have a
think.
wide frame?
We do.
Is that a thing? Oh,
It
that's
is
a thing.
This is another interesting thing. It's very hard to find, and you probably know that.
Yeah.
So, the Asian companies have this. I don't know why, but they have this weird thought process that all Americans and Europeans have the exact same face,
Okay.
Oh yeah.
and they make the same size glasses over and over and over, and you have to convince them that there are other people besides.
They have their
Europeans
own,
and
Yeah,
Americans,
they
right?
actually have their own frame style too to fit.
And
different.
that took decades. That's not an old thing. That's
Yeah.
very new. It's called Asian fit.
Yeah.
Right. Because when our first time we went to Taiwan for the first time, and they have these huge outdoor markets, and they have sunglass vendors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'd go there, and none of them fit the Asians. None of them. They'd put them on. They couldn't get them to fit, right? And I'm like, this is the most bizarre thing.
Yeah.
There's 3 billion Asians on the planet.
It's
All these
it's how the
sunglasses are made in
nose,
Asia.
Everything kind of sits on the
Yeah,
face, right?
and they don't make them to fit their own race of people.
That's crazy.
That's the most strange thing ever, and it's still that if you go over there now again,
Yeah.
most of them don't fit them, and they have to make it work. And I'm like, that's the weirdest. Like, that's the biggest market in the world.
Is that an untapped market for you then? You're gonna start marketing there?
Yeah, well, we tried. The thing is, when you go to the manufacturer, if you want to design your own mold, your own design, and you make it, it's exceedingly expensive because they have to then put that into a computer, make it work, build the mold. Right, it takes a lot of money for them to do that, and then they're like, well, now you have to commit to 30,000.
Oh.
Right, and if you don't commit to 30,000, we're not making you this mold. So you're gonna pick a mold, one of the millions they have, and then you tell us what you want this glass to be based on that mold, right? So I've never actually designed from scratch a pair of sunglasses. I'm always like, this is the
Really?
mold I want.
Yeah.
Now I want this color, I want this lens, I want the lens to do this, I want this writing, I want that. But the design itself,
Because
We
it's gonna age out, and then you're gonna have to like do it all over again.
right. So if we were large enough, then we'd be like, great, we can do that. We can easily move 30,000 units of this, but we're not going to
Yeah.
move 30,000 units of any one pair in one color.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen right now.
How many variations do you have of styles?
I think it's upwards of 70 with all the colors, maybe even 80.
wow.
70?
Well, with all the colors. So this one here, it comes in 5 colors. This one comes in 4 colors.
I was expecting like 10.
10 pairs.
Like,
No, I think the actual number of different styles is 26,
Oh, wow.
28, and then there are colors of each of those, right? But
can I see one?
yeah, of course. But to get back to what you were asking, we had to look forever. I brought that one because I thought you looked good in it. Because we had to look forever for big frames
Yeah.
because they just don't make them. And then we've had to ask.
Carrie
over
likes
and
to
over.
think she's a fighter pilot.
Yeah.
She likes to wear
Yeah,
the big
I
ones.
like the. Sorry, I'm taking my headphones off here.
That's one of the most popular women's.
Is it?
It's
How's it look?
super lightweight.
Yeah,
It's
it looks
super
good.
cute.
I was expecting a bigger reaction from you. I'm not gonna lie.
It looks
Like, it looks
fantastic.
There you go.
amazing.
What are you
That's the
doing
pair.
there?
I actually love them.
That's the pair right there. Yeah.
Okay, sold. So,
So this is one of the things we also do. This is interesting. When I found this plastic, I was really pumped. So you can literally bend the frames. in half.
oh, what are
can
you
do
doing?
yeah, they're awesome, right?
Can I do it?
Yeah, then they'll go right back, right? You can't go.
You
nuts,
break it,
though,
you buy it. I'm
But
just
you'll
saying.
see
Oh,
how
I was already
flexible
buying
they are.
them. Are you kidding? I just made buy a second
Right.
pair.
That's what happens the most to sunglasses. They get smashed.
Where
like
were
that.
these when my kids were like babies?
Yes, right.
And they would like grab them off my face, and I'd be like, no.
Right.
So, that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's super lightweight, but it's super durable. The guy who invented that plastic is.
So
Probably,
it doesn't do
probably-
anything to the hinges then?
No,
Like
the
the-
hinges are if you did that enough,
Wow.
it would break them
Yeah.
eventually. But the hinges are built to be able to take the flex.
These are beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I love that one.
So I like it because like, what do you call this right here?
The bow or the
bow.
arm.
Yeah, I was gonna say the arm. So the arm like this, it seems like it should be on like an aviator sunglass where they've got like that really thin kind of wire frame, but you get the look of it, but you get the feel of the more durable.
Yeah.
I love these.
Thanks.
Can you twist them? I'm not gonna twist them. I'm
you
just
can
kidding.
if you pop the
I'm
lenses
just
out.
kidding. I don't want to. No,
Okay, yeah.
don't break them.
And the reason that's nice is just because then
I'm
like
like fascinated by this.
Yeah.
yeah, if you sit on them, they don't necessarily break. Right? There are points that
so-
can't take too much
Can
pressure.
I see
but-
those ones?
Yeah,
Is there guy versions of these?
yeah. So this is the same exact plastic.
Oh, wow.
So it's just this is built differently. So this is a thicker hinge, so it won't go as much. But this is the same plastic as that.
Wow.
Right.
So how did you come up with the idea that you wanted it to be like bendy plastic?
When we had done many of the outdoor
Sure,
shows that we had,
Sorry.
we noticed that when we first started getting glasses that had this
These
plastic,
might be lowest.
Oh,
yeah, those are
good.
sweet.
I
And
like
see,
them on
I brought
you.
several that I thought would look good on each of you. Right. So that's,
He's like, I'm
He's like,
studying
this guy
your
looks like he's got a
faces.
huge head.
you actually don't. If you came to a trade show with
Yeah.
us, you'd be amazed how there are people that walk up and you're like, man, we
You're
cannot
like, we're gonna
help
need
you.
to bend this.
We cannot help you.
That's the hard thing. When you go to you put on sunglasses, there's a big rack, and you're like, nope, nope,
Yeah.
nope, nope, and it's like, what about this one?
Sure.
And I'll put on sunglasses like, oh, this looks good. And I look at Carrie, she's like, no,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
He's like, what do you think? I was like, I think we should keep looking.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think you need to continue.
You had this cool parrot I saw that had it was like goes all the way across. What is that?
Without
What?
with one
yeah,
lens.
yeah.
I should have brought
Like a
this, but I
visor
didn't.
type?
Did I bring one of those?
Those
Okay,
look-
sorry.
Is it kind of like
Yeah.
those raptor?
Yes.
type?
So there's a company called Pit Viper that
Yeah.
um,
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
that
Pit
brought
Viper.
those back, and it was a perfect timing because it was like a late '80s, early
Yeah.
'90s stuff, and they've exploded. They're bigger
They're
than
huge
they
in
ever were. Yes.
softball and baseball.
They're
yeah.
huge. Anyone from 15 to 25 is just gaga over them. So we have our own kind of version of that, and yeah, that we've done great with that.
Yeah.
But in that market, most of our product, and we did this on purpose too, is we try to target as much as we can 35 to 60, because we also know that the average 15-year-old that wants those
Yeah.
doesn't have $40 in their pocket for a pair of glasses.
Yeah.
So we're like, hey, first of all,
What's the sweet spot?
who can purchase our product, and then
Yeah.
what's a good product that they will purchase the product.
It's like mullets are coming back. What glasses fit the mullet?
And that's if you're gonna have a mullet, you need a pair of those Viper types.
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome.
And
So-
and all the big brands now have lots of those because they
Yeah.
were like, oh wow, look at this trend. We're obviously going to feed this trend, which is what happens with fashion, period, and of course with sunglasses. If something hits hard, you see
You just need the right person to put
everybody
them
will
on
get-
one time, and
Yeah.
it's like. So
Exactly
who do we
right.
know
Yeah.
that we could be like, you need to put these on?
So-
This could be like a requirement coming on the podcast.
Yes.
Like, we need you to try these on really quick. Don't ask questions.
Yeah.
Don't ask one.
So where's your biggest sales coming from? Is it coming from Oregon or is it coming outside of Oregon?
Oregon and Washington, I think,
Really?
and Colorado. We did a lot of work in Colorado in the
Because
first few
that's
years.
all like the
Outdoorsy.
outdoorsy
Yep.
community.
And that was a big. Once we realized that was a untapped market for us,
Mm-hmm.
we hit those pretty hard, and we do a decent amount in Montana and Idaho. They're just less populated, so we don't sell
Yeah.
as much in those areas. But Wyoming, same thing. But Northern California, we do a lot in, and we have stores in every state. But those are the three biggest concentrations.
So between like you guys going to these events and selling online and being in stores, if you put in like a pie chart, where do you think most of your sales come from?
Wholesale, for
Really?
sure.
Yeah.
Because a store, and we do really. My wife runs our website. She does all the photography, and she does a wonderful job. But that's hard to compete when you're selling singles.
Yeah.
And we have a water park in Denver, for example, who buys 2,000-3,000 at a time.
Oh wow.
Right. So that's
Yeah.
hard to compete with if you have a few of those customers. But so we're heavily weighted toward wholesale, but our website has been growing and growing and growing, and every year it grows more and it grows more, and the more we sell out to the public through the stores, the more our website does better. And they're like, hey, I got your glasses here, I'd like to get another pair.
Yeah.
And Tracy my wife does a ton of work for getting them seen on social media so that more people are buying them, which is interesting to me because you don't get to try them on. I always think this is interesting how many we sell where someone said, I saw these on Instagram, I just purchased them, and I thought, you don't really even know if they fit you.
Yeah.
Which is crazy,
I
right?
bought sunglasses off of an Instagram ad one time, and they were like the best fitting sunglasses. And it was, but if I'm there in person, I'm like, I'm gonna critique the heck out of it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I feel like these are going to
They
be
should
good.
work.
They're going to work. Yeah, it works
They
for
should
that
work.
model right there.
Yeah, right.
So
And
I got a good feeling.
yeah, we don't get too many returns, but we do. I mean, of course, you can't.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be like buying shoes. You know, I'm a size I am, but certain brands are like,
Oh, yeah.
I guess I need a bigger size or a smaller size depending on how they build them. So we get returns, but I'm always amazed how many we sell where we've never met the person. They're
Mm-hmm.
like, this is my first time purchasing your product, and that's wild to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess sunglasses you can get away with, but I mean, like jeans and stuff, like it's either going to fit or not going to
Sure.
fit. So if you like the style,
Yeah.
I mean, that's great though, that you're able to do that. I mean, so I think, I was talking to your wife earlier that, overseas is kind of like, it's so hard shipping overseas right now.
It's interesting.
With how expensive it is for shipping. Like the shipping is more than what the glasses are worth on some places.
Yeah, if you take a total amount of the shipping. The nice thing about sunglasses, the really nice thing, is when the shipping tariffs came in, and what was that, 5 years ago? Something like that? 6 years ago, whenever the tariff started for shipping got bigger. I was really worried, but then the importer that helps me was like, this isn't going to affect you much because 480,000 pairs of sunglasses fit in a container. So if the container goes up 20%, you're talking about a half a penny maybe per unit. But if you were selling bikes and 50 bikes fit in that
Yeah.
container,
That's a big deal.
now you're like, wow, that's $300 more per
Yeah.
bike, right? Or if any large object became really hard to ship, we got really lucky in that. I mean, we don't buy that many, but of course, but
Yeah.
it's just a much more compact space that we're taking up on that cargo container. So we didn't feel it near as much. I mean, it was more expensive, obviously, but not enough that we had to absorb. I think we were looking on the way down because we were prepping a little bit for talking to you guys. And I think our prices probably with shipping and everything else and cost of materials over the years have probably increased 20, 30%. But we're still like hanging on
Hanging
to 40
on that,
bucks.
yeah,
And
40 bucks,
our
yeah.
thought process is if we keep growing and expanding,
Yeah.
we can outgrow that to a point. At
Yeah.
some point we'll have to change it, but we're like, great if we do another.
So you're investing in your future,
Yes.
hopefully.
Right, and we have a lot of comments from our customers like, awesome, it's still $40. Like that's such a great price. We love that price. So we just are doing everything we can to keep it there.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with the name?
So my great grandmother's last name was Benedetti,
Okay.
and I thought that was a little bit of a mouthful.
Brian tried to spell it that way last night.
It's actually how it should be spelled, right? It's at
See, so you were right.
Yeah.
Your
Kinda
brain
right.
was autocorrected.
yes,
It must have
exactly
been,
right.
right.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. So I cut it because I thought Bendetti was easier to say. What's interesting is people say Benedetti all the time, and then we found out we did a marketing campaign to the Bendetti families in the
Okay.
U.S.
Okay.
and there's only like 200 of them.
The Bendetti or the
Bendetti.
Benedetti?
Yeah, when I
Bendetti.
actually spelled it right, I noticed that you guys were following one of the hashtags for the Bendetti.
Yes.
And then so I was like, okay, so this is good.
Yeah, so we found out there's hardly any Bendettis in the United States. There's
okay.
thousands
It's like a-
of
Italian?
Benedettis. Yes,
Really?
it's Italian.
It's
So
like
that she was
Adams
Italian.
in
Yes.
Italian.
So we were like, dang it! Like we could have had this built-in huge audience of Benedettis, right?
dang it.
It's fine. Like
Yeah.
we picked this, and I still think it's easier to say, but that's how it came up. She was immigrated here when she was very little, and the man she ended up marrying, my great grandfather, was also from Italy. They both immigrated near the same time and wound up in a town in Montana that had less than 400 people, and both their families moved there.
Wow.
And then when they started dating, they found out that they lived and grew up only like 40 miles apart
Whoa.
in Italy.
What?
Like,
You think people like immigrate
crazy
to
story?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
think you immigrate to like New York, and that's where you met.
Of course.
Yeah.
So is that where you came up with $40?
Yeah.
They got like they live
Yeah.
40 miles.
Yes,
Or...
right. I didn't even think about that, but it was
40,
crazy.
yeah.
So I love that name, and
Yeah.
and I'm super close with my family, so I was like, that's cool. Not only is it Italian, and we tried to get these made in Italy. Actually, we're still want to do another notch up. Eventually, I'd like to get another like super premium
Yeah.
type made in Italy. And that was an interesting thing though. When we went, Tracy and I went to a factory there. Also a family of 3 brothers and sisters that own this factory. And she said, we can make this product the same what you have. It's just going to cost you more money because we're in Italy.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing.
It's the exact same thing.
Right. And then
Yeah.
she said, we can make you a more premium product. It's just going to cost you more money. I'm not going to lie to you until you can't get this made. What we're making, you can make in China and you'll save 40%. But you get to have the absolute sexy factor of saying
Made
made
in
in
Italy.
Maybe, yeah.
right? So, and then even more crazy, this goes weird, right? When something's made in the U.S., it only has to be made in the U.S. Like I think it's 60%,
Yeah.
60%.
something like that. Same in Italy. So if it says made in Italy, she's like, we're going to buy all the lenses in China, then we're going to bring them over here, and all the screws will come from China.
Yeah.
We'll make we'll make the frame, paint it, we'll put the lenses in, made in Italy. And so there's another one. If we do all that work, it's another 40%. Then it's 100% made in Italy.
So it's kind of like that analogy talking about you can get like a bottle of water from Costco for what do you buy it from them for $1,
Right.
and then you take that same bottle of water, you put it someplace else, it's $2. You put it
Yeah.
at like a ball game, it's $3, and it
100%.
just goes up. Same bottle of water.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
That wasn't interesting for us, but I really love that idea because it would be neat to have an Italian-made product that is another step up.
Mm-hmm.
And that I didn't really want to get into the market and compete with companies like Oakley and Maui Jim. That can be a death sentence. There's
Yeah.
a ton of companies that have tried that and they just die fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to compete with if you're going to ask the same money as a brand you know is awesome,
Mm-hmm.
that's tough to get someone to buy that from you at that same price. But we thought, man, maybe if we could get it for maybe $60, $80, make that our deal.
Yeah, I think watch companies have the same issue too.
Yeah.
You know, you got a lot of like quartz watches that are decent watches. I've got a bunch of quartz watches that look nice, and I wear them every day, but you know, you can't wear like a Rolex around every day.
Right.
And for those companies that try to compete with something like Rolex and have the same
Impossible.
precision, and it's
Impossible. So we were trying to make sort of one more step up from ours and in between theirs and get like an $80 to $90 range. And she said, we can do that easy. We can do that tomorrow, whatever you want.
Yeah.
But she said, but here's the cost. And because you're doing it here, your profit's going to be pretty slim because you're having it made here.
Wow.
And if you want to keep that price, it's a great price and you'll sell a lot. But you just have to, you're just
Your
going to have to eat a
margins are
lot.
gonna be
Yeah,
lower.
they're just going to be way lower.
Have you ever wondered, like, what if we just do one, just to try it out, to see what happens?
Of
with
course.
it? Yeah.
But we didn't. But then we thought, okay, then we can only sell it online,
Yeah.
which is fine. It's just that takes longer to move that minimum that you have to buy.
Yeah.
And then if you find out, we ordered the wrong one, and this isn't the right frame,
This is one.
and
an
I messed up
expensive
and
mistake.
bought the
Yeah.
wrong type, which I've done. Right. And then I thought, oh, these are beautiful. I love these. And I was the only person in the universe, apparently, that liked those.
Yeah.
And everybody else was like,
That
these
would
are
be my
terrible.
fear.
Right?
I'd be like, we're never changing the style. This is what I like. This is what we're sticking with forever.
Well, and that's why I keep doing some of the outdoor festivals, and we do 2 or 3 of them. And one's in Seattle, one's in Coeur d'Alene, and we have the Blues Fest. And I do that so I know what is selling.
Yeah.
it's like
right.
your test market.
Yes. So if I'm like, look, okay, this pair right here, for example, when we started that, I couldn't have enough of them. Like every third woman was like, I'll take that one, take that one, I'll take that one. I'm like, great, we're gonna make that one. And then
Do you know it bends?
yeah,
And you-
right? Exactly. So then we'll try another frame and be like, good, this one's crushing it. We're gonna do that one.
Yeah.
Because of course we can't just buy 1,000 glasses and eat them and have them sit on the shelf. I mean, that
Yeah.
just would kill us, right? So we have to be really careful. But I've done it. I mean,
there's some classics out there that, I mean, they've been around since the '60s.
Sure.
Like, you know, the aviator type.
Aviators. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, you could probably make those and just dust them off and then resell
Yeah.
them later, and they're like, oh, great, they're vintage
Eventually,
now.
yeah.
They're vintage aviators now.
Yeah, it's weird how they go in and out. When I first started selling sunglasses, I couldn't have given a pair of aviators to a person under 60. I could have said, here, free aviators, and they'd have been like, no, I don't
Yeah.
want those. Especially to any person that was young.
Yeah.
They're like,
then-
great, my grandma just lost hers.
Yes.
Like,
and then Johnny Knoxville happened, and aviators went insane. Like we sold
really?
probably over 200,000 pairs of aviators in maybe 5 years just because of that show.
Because aviators used to be, you know, it was like the kind of the single, like it was like the darker, the black ones.
Police officers wore them.
Yeah.
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 Like the
Chips.
the chips.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
right.
Everybody
Paunch and everybody else.
Yeah.
And you say that to a kid now, and they're like, "What
They're
who the
like,
hell
"You
is
want
Paunch?"
chips?
Yeah. But now they got the colored ones.
I feel old now.
So there's so many versions of it now.
Yeah,
Like in-
but you're right though. If you a lot of stuff, the Wayfarers that were popular in the '80s, right? That I couldn't have. Same thing. I couldn't have given those away, right? And now that's practically all we sell. Same with the the big ones, right? But those were popular in the 80s. You
Yeah.
couldn't have given those away. And probably now if you had 1,000 of them in a box somewhere, and now with the Viper types, the big ones, right?
Yeah.
The uglier the better. The worse they look,
yeah.
the better they sell.
Like the ones that are super
bizarre.
boxy
Crazy.
looking,
Yes.
looks like they're from like
Yep.
a
Yep.
yeah.
It just becomes this like they're so terrible, they're awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
They're
They're so bad,
ironic.
they're good.
Yes.
Yeah.
My
Yes.
ironic sunglasses.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then you see the mullet come back, and you're like, and the thin mustache. You're like, what? What am I witnessing? Like,
Yeah.
what is this? Right.
The thin mustache goes with that aviators, really.
Yeah.
good.
Right. And the big mullet, and the backwards hat. Right. I'm
I
like,
remember I was telling our daughter about Doc Martens. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I had like the best pair of Doc Martens when I was in high school. And I remember as a kid, my mom being like, oh, I had the best pair of like, oh, it was the yellow combat boots. Those were in for a while.
oh yeah.
My
yeah.
mom was telling me about like when she had them. And I'm like, these things just go full
Yeah.
circle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So whatever you have, they'll come back.
Of course.
Yeah, records.
Yeah.
Records are coming back.
Oh, yeah. Kids love records now. Who
It's
knew?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I should have kept all my CDs instead of throwing them all away. So like, what am I gonna do with all these CDs?
Yeah.
I heard something the other day and it said, why are Gen Xers so angry? And it's like, because we went from records to tapes to CDs to MP3 players.
Yes.
Now everything's online and records are coming back.
Yes.
It's full
Yeah.
circle.
And there was a little bit of time in there with an 8-track.
Oh, yeah.
We had a car with an 8-track in it.
Which it seems like it makes sense. You don't have to worry about scratching it or anything.
Right.
You just like slam those things in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So that's a good. We try not to get in a position where we're stuck with glasses, but
Yeah.
I suppose if we wait,
I was going to
long
say, good
enough,
news. They'll come
we'd
back
be
at
all
some
right.
point.
You know, maybe-
Eventually,
maybe if
someone
you
would
make-
love
You get to a
those.
point where you're like vintage.
Yes, exactly right.
Maybe you just need to make a batch of those $100 sunglasses, send them out to every musician you know.
Yes.
One of them will tag you in it, and then everybody will jump on and buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, that's something it takes sometimes. I mean, you see that. You'll see a.
He's going to go to a concert, a celebrity will like put their glasses down, he'll swipe and be like,
Yep.
oh, here, you
Yeah.
lost yours. Here's mine.
That's right.
We were talking
great
earlier
idea.
Marketing plan.
about that. You said you walked down the road and you saw some guy wearing your glasses. Like, those are my glasses.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, it's interesting. That's always a fun thing I look for, right? When you're out and about, and every once in a while I'll see someone wander by and there's our brand and they're wearing them, and I'm like, that's so cool. Like that. We
You walk
made
up
that
to it, you're like,
product.
do you want a picture with me?
Yeah. So
Like, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Go for my glasses.
right. So I said earlier, we're kind of waiting if we're ever overseas or somewhere really exotic or somewhere when we see someone come by with our glasses. That's
It's going to be like
pretty
your
wild.
superstar
Yeah.
moment.
Look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
We've made it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
We're
awesome.
international now.
Yeah, yeah. We've shipped a few places international, but we don't really sell much over. We do have a customer. We got an interesting customer. I'm a big scuba diver, and I've been to Belize a few times because the diving is amazing there. And they have a national beer called Belican, and we luckily lucked into getting this customer, and they buy from us, and they have us produce their glasses for them, right? And we get them all printed, and it's like they put them in their huge brewery shop, and
Yeah.
it's just an interesting thing. There's a million places to sell sunglasses, which is
Yeah.
another fun thing, right? You don't have to just stick to one place.
Have you ever had anybody like just send you a photo of your glasses in different parts of the world?
Oh, yeah, all the time,
Yeah,
all the time.
That'd be kind of cool to see on your Instagram thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you why we don't have that.
Yeah.
My wife, being a professional photographer, she covets good pictures.
Oh, okay.
And the amount of pictures we get that are like foggy, half
Oh, yeah.
blurry,
I
like
get it.
here's me with my duck face, and you can only see like half my head. We get a ton of those. And Tracy's like, that's kind of
That's
a good
very
idea,
nice.
She's
but
like,
this
we're
is
going to put these in the
this
stories.
is a terrible photo. Right? She's
yeah.
like, so, but every once in a while, someone sends us a really cool one, and she'll use that, right?
Yeah,
but,
good.
But
Yeah.
some of them are, and some of them just don't fit. She has a very specific
Aesthetic.
aesthetic and
Yeah.
feel for that Instagram, and she wants she wants when you scroll that it's us and it looks like us.
Because you want your product being represented, right? And then,
Which I'm really glad I have her, because if I had to do that, that thing would be a mess. It would just be all those pictures would be up there, and it'd be, here's one of my dog yesterday, and
Yeah.
she'd be like, what are
Here's
you
my
doing,
breakfast.
right? What are you doing, right? So she's all the professional, beautiful aesthetic promotion of our company is all Tracy.
Well, having your dog pose long enough to put sunglasses on him, I mean, that's an
I
art in
love it when
itself.
we were taking the picture and all of a sudden, just
Yeah,
like it's ready.
yeah,
He
yeah.
loves it.
Right before we started, we were posing. The dog like, oh, we're posing
Yes,
now.
Like, oh, it's
exactly
picture
that.
time.
Yes, well, she's trained him well. Like, he knows he's gonna get treats, and when you put a pair of sunglasses on him, he'll literally just sit there. He just is super
we try it?
still.
Can we try
Yeah,
it?
we
I wanna-
can.
yeah.
Now let's see.
Well,
He'll
look,
do it,
now
but let's
he's
see.
like, you woke me
Come here,
up.
Ruben,
What do
let's
you got? Come here, Ruben.
I think I heard something about treats, right?
Yeah. Can we
wanna
try,
try?
buddy? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
go
we'll
ahead.
try. Here, can you put on a pair for? Okay, come here, buddy. Come here. He'll usually just stay right where he's at.
Good boy.
Good
Hey,
boy.
Ruben.
Now he's like, come on, give me the treat, man.
Yeah.
He's like, can I go back to sleep now?
Yeah. So that's all Tracy, and she.
Hi.
I would get a decent amount of people following us, of course, just for the dog, which
Yeah.
is fine with us. It's
Yeah.
great, right?
It's like we've been doing this for so long, and all of a sudden you throw your dog on, you're like,
Yeah.
you know, like 10,000 likes on your dog.
Yes. Our biggest
love dogs.
likes and
Yeah.
follows obviously have been per video, like have been on stuff we do with the dog. Or we'll go out and go hiking, and Tracy will do a video on that, or we'll do something fun and the
The
dog will do this.
underbite.
I know he's adorable.
You know, I have an underbite. No one likes
No
me.
one cares.
Yeah.
Brian's walking around.
You put it on a dog, all of a sudden it's cute.
Yes, yeah. It's been a great little guy. Plus, it to get him out, it forces us to get out too more, which is great.
Okay, for the record, it's on Do Not Disturb, but it's my house
yeah,
for
yeah,
our
yeah,
kids,
yeah.
and it's my daughter.
Okay.
Sorry, she must be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. But he's been a great mascot. Some of the trade shows allow us to bring him, so we'll have him at the trade shows when customers come, and
Oh, okay.
they love him. The trade show people love him.
You always need a good mascot.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's really a great. I brought him. Tracy hasn't always worked for us full time because when we were small we didn't have enough to pay her, but I would bring him to work all the time, and it was so great having him there. And
I love
it
it.
was just awesome. He'd run around the warehouse and was our mascot all over the place. It was great.
So what's next for you guys?
Really, I'm just focused on how much can I, not in a greedy way, but I want
You're
to.
running a business.
I want to
Yeah.
expand.
Yeah.
But I want to expand not so much so I can be crazy wealthy. That's not my goal. I don't think that's ever really going to happen. But I want to be able. We were talking about this too on the way down. I want to be able to pay my employees and myself where we're all doing really good.
Yeah.
And then we're like, great, because we're not saving the world. We're selling sunglasses, right?
Saving eyeballs.
Yeah, that which is nice, but it should be fun, and I want it to be fun. But I want them to not only like what they're doing, but then like I'm secure. Like we're doing well, right? Everybody's getting paid well. So for me, I want to expand. I want to double it one more time. It'll be a lot easier to sell if I do, and then all the employees will be like, we're super well paid. We like what we do. It's fun. It's
Oh, sorry.
And you get to your 5-year plan.
yeah. And then Tracy and I are like, great, we're going to travel more and more and more and more, right?
Do you have like a prescription sunglass option?
We don't. In order to do that, you have to get a higher end and specifically built frame, and then it would make the cost jump up.
Okay.
So
I'm thinking for
we
my
can't do
kids
that.
for their like glasses, like
Yeah.
these would be incredible.
People ask us a lot, but if we made them RX ready, now our cost jumps way up, and now we can't keep that price point.
Then you're those $150 glasses.
Yeah, they'd probably start at about $80, right? So there's, it takes a little bit of doing to keep that price there, actually, to make them really pretty, and like the costs keep creeping up, and we're like, oh, we want to make the colors beautiful and the frames beautiful, right?
It's hard to get sunglasses a prescription that aren't just flat.
Well, that's part of it too, right? And I'm not an optician, but yeah, the lenses are crazy. So the more they have to curve, then the more they have to be able to accept that. And are the glasses built for those exact lenses? That's a whole other beast that I don't really want to dive into. I got enough to do.
You want to stay on the fence side.
Yeah,
you want to be able,
I
you
don't
want
need
to be
to
able
see.
to
I
enjoy
just
it.
need to look good.
Yeah. Although it's really been nice that LASIK has become such a great and easy thing, because people are constantly telling us, I can finally wear sunglasses. So
You're like, here's a pair.
yeah,
$40.
right? Yeah, right. Great. Yeah.
So how do we support you?
Well, you can go. I mean, if anybody wants to buy a pair of sunglasses, we have a full return policy. Like if I don't like these, we're like, great, you don't have to love them. If you don't, send them back, right? So our website is www.bendettioptics.com.
Yeah, that's the best place probably to buy, where you get the most out of it. Then.
Well, it's where you don't have to go search, because we have a lot of stores, but we're not ubiquitous, and we're not like in every corner, right? So there is on our website, there is a a page that lists our retailers for
Yeah.
your area. So if you're in Oregon and Washington, there's actually quite a few places. But if there's one not close to you, then the website is a great place. You can send treats to Ruben.
Yeah.
You can support us that way.
Yeah,
He
he's
would
serious.
love it. Look at him. Yes, he loves that. He likes to be right in the middle of everything. So, and
He's like, "Did you say my name?" I'm like,
yeah. And what was helpful for us too is even if you don't love our sunglasses or
Yeah.
don't need sunglasses, I think Tracy does an amazing job with our Instagram with the dog.
Yeah.
And our product. And she does a lot with him. And that's super supportive. Just
Yeah.
people are like, hey, I like your company. Hey, I like what you're doing with this little guy. I like
I
what you
like
guys are
your
trying to
dog."
do.
Yeah.
Right? That it's shocking how much that helps. Just some engagement with our Instagram or our Facebook or all
Yeah.
the things you can Instagram, or
Just
you
like
can
the
try a
page.
pair of glasses, and if you love
How
them,
hard
great.
is it just to like the
Yes,
page?
exactly.
Come on.
Gosh, come on, click.
Ruben says, "Please."
Yes.
Yes.
That's awesome.
All
Well, we appreciate you coming in. These
Yeah,
are
of
awesome
course.
glasses. I can't
Thanks.
wait to try a couple of pairs on. And, it's $40. Get a new pair of sunglasses. It's Oregon based. Get these guys
Support
to
local.
retirement so they can go on
Yeah.
vacation.
Give him a 5-year plan.
Yeah,
come
come
on.
on, man.
Yeah, it's small business. Going on vacation is tough enough. So let's get you guys a retirement.
Exactly
Just
right.
buy a million pairs of sunglasses.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for having me.
Thank you
thank
for
you for
coming.
coming in.
Awesome. I
Appreciate
love what
it.
you guys do. I checked out quite a few of your
Thank
podcasts.
you.
And
Thanks.
they're crazy interesting. For example, I love this stuff.
Do you?
Isn't
I
it?
love it.
the hitch
so
sauce?
so when we came in, I was like, oh man, I love that stuff.
They are the
yeah.
nicest people. Also,
awesome.
like
Yeah.
seriously, like they're
Small
just
business owners do the exact
Yes.
same thing. You're trying to build it
I
up from
love
the
it.
ground up. And
I
it's,
love
it's
it.
awesome.
It's
So-
great. We saw them. We saw them recently in Fred Meyer, and we were so excited for them. Like, look at that. That's their product in Fred Meyer.
Yeah.
That is not easy to
No.
do.
I know.
Right? I was like super pumped because we saw them at a farmer's market and bought it, and I loved it.
Yeah.
so
And it
good.
was so great to see them. Like, look at these guys. Like, that's awesome. That's just super cool.
He's like, "Did we just become best friends?"
Yeah. So it's great that you guys do this. That's cool to support small businesses and people like
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah,
We
it's
like
awesome.
it. We like hearing what everybody else does too. So
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.